What is going on, everybody? It's Joey with Value TCG. So for those of you who was able to watch my prior video, and thank you to all of those who did, y'all know what this video is all about. Today, we are going to be opening up the Uta deck ST-11 from One Piece. As y'all can see here, I was able to get an entire display that I pre-ordered a while ago from an LGS. I put in my order once I realized that really a number of decks in Japan were using staples from this Uta deck. So as a result, really going with the theme of the channel, finding value where pricing doesn't reflect it. I was able to buy a display of this for about $60. So maybe a little over $60. So below MSRP of $12 per starter deck. So I was quite lucky to be able to secure this. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do the same for starter deck 12, the Zoro and Sanji one. Those decks have gone really expensive, which is quite interesting since there aren't that many cards from those starter decks to justify the price. So again, I was pretty lucky. So today I'll just be opening up one of the decks in here to show y'all what is in this. So starter deck looks pretty clean. I do like the colors on this thing. The green, pink, and baby blue. I think it reminds me of ice cream. So it makes me a little bit hungry looking at this. But maybe I'll be able to eat some after the opening. So without further ado, I think I'm just gonna tear into this. Looks like there's actually some tape on both sides of the starter deck. So let me see if I can open this in a more efficient manner. So again, I was able to buy this from an LGS. I didn't buy out a Walmart or a Target. So please don't come at me with pitchforks and riot at my house. So all right, there. I got half of it open so far. Wow, this is proving to be a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. And also, I will be I will be talking a little bit about the Forge and Fire situation. Those of you who like to watch Rudy from Alpha Investments, he actually talked about it. It was pretty surprising. So I'll do that after the opening. I want to focus on this for now, especially since I spent a lot of effort opening up this thing. All right, here we go. So, oh, okay. All right, so that's it. We have the instructions to play the game as always. So I'm not gonna go over this time. I did for one of the other starter decks. And then you notice how they actually changed from cardboard on the inside to this what feels like recycled plastic to hold the deck in place. All right, so looks pretty nice. And the Ultra Leader, the very first card. All right, so let's just go through this. So we have the Ultra Leader, and I think we should have most of the deck with a number of film deck cards that are reprints from the from the booster boxes. Booster box 1 or OPO1 and OPO2, I believe, should have the bulk of that. So Ulta Leader, I think this is about $1 on TCG Player. Not too pricey. We do have the Film Ulta cards. There's 2 of these. So these are really where the bulk of the value of the starter deck is. Um, so I've seen online that a lot of the decks, even as we progress into OPO6 and beyond, 4 of these Ultas are pretty in demand, right? They're kind of, if you want to use Ulta as your leader, you'll need 4 of these, even though you might replace the rest of the deck with other cards. You definitely want 4 of these. So the effect, I'm just gonna put it on here so you guys can see. Maybe I'll just move my hand to, looks like a blocker effect. And then at uh, end of turn effect where you trash 1 event from the hand and set up one of your characters as active. So it just seems like you can maybe attack, and then if you want to, you can then use the end of turn effect to then ready that same character as as a defensive unit potentially. So again, 2 of these, and then by the way, these are around $9 each on TCG Player. Even though it's still early on, so maybe prices might even go up more. New Genesis, these are also the cards with a lot of value. Probably the only other cards with value in the starter deck, at least thus far. They're about $6.50 on TCG Player. Last time I checked today. Some did trade hands at close to 9, but it's come down a little bit as people are getting their deliveries like I did today and putting it up on TCG. So this just looks like a search type of event, and there's 2 in here. So I mean, with really these 4 cards, you have I guess over $30 value, which is pretty incredible, given that a deck is only $12 MSRP. You have Film Brook from OPO2. If you don't have it from just opening up booster boxes, well, here's a full set for you. Film Luffy. I think this is this is a rare, so it should be hollow, or it should be a little shiny in the normal version, but this is not, as you can see, as you can tell. For Usops, for Jinbeis, for Tony Choppers, for Laws. Seems like everything thus far is from OPO 2. Actually, maybe the Jinbeis are not. I know, it is. Film Nico Robin. Also OPO 2. And then Film Frankie. Of course, Film Zora. So, those are all, as you can tell, the entire Straw Hat crew. The Namis are not in here. So that's actually going to be probably the most important part of the Ulta deck. So if you do try to play with the Ulta deck, it is going to be a little bit more underwhelming. You won't have that searching ability from the film Namis. And unfortunately, that's also from OPO2. And last time I checked, it was around $22 each for a near mint copy on TCG Player. So you might be able to luck into buying one of the starter decks, Uta starter decks. You might be able to find one online or somewhere else for a cheap price. but you still will have to drop close to $90 to complete the deck to make it relatively competitive. And I think that's, quite a shame that they didn't add that in here. Anyways, we had 3-sword style onigiri, which is also from OPO2. And backlight. So the backlights and I'm Invincible, these are new cards to the deck, and they should be staples in the Ulta decks, no matter what formats that the decks take. So 2 backlights and 4 I'm Invincibles. And then, of course, your typical tendons in here. So there you have it, everybody. That is, we just went through the contents of the starter deck. Pretty straightforward. I think the Ulta events are going on right now. I mentioned this in a prior video that Bandai is so underprinted right now, that they're so stretched for capacity, that they're not able to send out the prize packs for this event, for the Ulta Starter Deck Battle event. So a few of the LGSs around me, they weren't able to host that event this past weekend. They said they'll get those booster or those prize packs or participation packs in like 2 months. So that's why you guys will see it's actually quite expensive to buy the contents, those promos from those participation packs, because there's just really not that many to go around. Hopefully they'll be able to fix that relatively soon. Now, okay, so before I end the video, I do want to switch gears to the Forge and Fire issue that if you've been on Reddit, the One Piece Reddit recently, you'll see that's become a big topic, at least for a couple of days last week. I'm actually surprised that Rudy from Alpha Investments covered it, because it was a relatively small event, but I guess it fit into the theme of, people really being mad at LGSs right now for upcharging for decks, for booster boxes, for really anything related to One Piece, and gouging prices, or seemingly gouging prices when they're able to. I just want to give a couple of thoughts there. First of all, so to describe what happened with Forge and Fire, they posted a couple of pictures last week, maybe a week, 2 weeks ago, especially after the supposed reprint announcement from Team PDC, which I'm still doubting that it actually happened. But anyways, so after that, we did see a number of let's say LGSs and collectors that had stored booster boxes go to market and try to sell at a relatively cheaper price, right? And this included Forge and Fire. And what they did was, and I think this is really their mistake, and it's quite stupid of them, they put their booster cases I guess on top of some Wizards of the Coast booster cases as well, like Magic booster cases, and pretended like they had just like unwrapped this booster or this palette that they had from a distributor, and they were like, oh, whoops, we suddenly found some romanced on booster boxes. Like, oh man, how embarrassing. And they did that again with Awakening of the New Era. I think they had 3 cases of OPO1 and like 5 or 6 cases of romance of Awakening of the New Era, OPO5. So first of all, I guess it's possible. I shouldn't automatically assume that those booster boxes or booster cases weren't just certain things that they found, right? It could be possible that as they were unwrapping some pallets, that they just happened upon some more booster boxes. Um, I frankly doubt that because they're not a very large time LGS. I bought from them before. They tend to run out of inventory relatively often. So I think they should have had a pretty good handle on the inventory, especially OP inventory, right? Like One Piece inventory is so valuable right now. If you're able to sell booster cases for $2,000, $3,000, just a couple months after release, like we saw with OP05, they should probably understand the number of booster boxes and booster cases that they have on hand, right? When they cross check their invoices, they should pretty quickly realize, like, oh, we only sold, 40 cases. We were supposed to get 45, or we were supposed to get 50. Maybe I can just open some of the other pallets to see if, that's where it was, um, where the remaining balance was. So I'm pretty sure or my sense is that, like, they probably knew that they had these outstanding booster cases somewhere, if they didn't know it exactly or already. Um, but they probably, just like many other LGSs out there and collectors out there, they were holding on to the inventory, right? And really, I don't think that's actually that bad thing to do. It's not like they were hoarding pallets and pallets. Again, 3 cases of Romance Dawn, 5 cases of Awakening of the New Era. That's like not, or 5 or 6. That's not like that crazy, right? It's a pretty typical practice for LGSs to hold on to some of those boxes and like sell them over time should those cards appreciate. That's just part of the game. But I think what they did, the way that they pretended like, oh, we just happen upon them, that's not a great thing, right? Like you don't wanna make it seem like you were scalping your consumers. And I don't think they were, consciously doing that. In fact, I would venture to believe that they were just acting just like all the other LGSs out there, that hold some boxes back and cases back, to sell later on. Um, so I think the balance of the issue here is that people got really 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 mad at Fortune Fire, right? If you go on Reddit, any of their comments were like downvoted 50 times or 60 times, um and people were all just angrily talking about how these guys are the scalpers, like we found them, right? We found them, like never buy from Fortune Fire again. Like I don't know if that's really warranted. They're not the reason why people can't find inventory. It's Bandai, right? It's the fact that we can't, like right now, if you look online for these Ulta decks, you can't find them for under 18 bucks, $20, right? Like these are starter decks. They should be pretty readily available for everybody. And the fact that its core content's already selling for like 30 something dollars, that's insane. That is on Bandai, right? That's not on the LGSs. Bandai needs to, point blank increase production. So to then lynch random LGSs for, let's say, very normal business practices and has been for the last like 20 years, that doesn't make any sense to me. So I think I just wanted to give some thoughts there. I know people are angry and unhappy with the fact that there are scalpers out there. Like I'm not defending Fortune Fire. I've no affiliation to Fortune Fire here, but it is interesting to me that the era of One Piece right now is to just be mad at anybody with inventory. That's just weird. We shouldn't do that. Anyways, I wanted to just end on that note. Thank you guys for watching another video. I appreciate all the support. I'm pretty honored that the last video had 200 views, over 200 views. Thank you guys so much for spending your time with me. Please, if you could, leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. Again, I'll be trying to put out more videos. I have still more items just lying around that I haven't done a video for, so I probably will be doing that sometime soon. Definitely will be doing some Dragon Ball Super openings once that is available. And then also we'll be opening up some other booster boxes like OP06 and EB1 once those sets are released. Anyways, thank you guys again for the time. I'll see you guys next time.